I guess I was gonna say I was gonna say that I was gonna let people trickle in a little bit, but I guess I mean, like, oh, yeah, okay, the number's going up. Okay. Wait, how much cursing are we allowed to do? Okay, okay. Yes. 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 Yeah, we've got big and fun plans, so also follow our Twitter. That's yes. The Last of Us Part 3. Yeah. So true. Alright, let me I'm just viciously screenshotting. Um Yes. Yeah, we wanted to share, how yes, as professionals. Which always sounds so fake, but it is true. I mean, yeah. Yes, let me taste that bad boy. Alright, so yes. Mhm, mhm, mhm. We love it's me. My name's Nikita, but you can call me Knack. I'm Whittle Draws basically everywhere because that's my last name. Um, I've labeled myself as freelance cartoonist and sequential guy. I also went to SVA and graduated in 2021. I use they them. I work mostly in comics. Whereas Celine graduated from animation, I graduated from the comics major. Doy. Um, Stevens University, yes, that is a fun fact where Rebecca Sugar went, and Dana Terrace. So all the gay cartoons. Um, yes, but so I've worked for like like a comics arm of PBS out of Boston. I've worked for HarperCollins. I've worked for Random House Graphic, mostly in the role of colorist. I don't really have anything published at this time except for my webcomic, which is about vampires and is also on Webtoon. and yeah, it's linked in most of my social medias. So yeah, let's and and I've also headed quite several zines in the last 5 years or so. So yeah. Yeah. Well, I've been a part of 10 plus, like as on staff. I haven't yeah. Um but yeah. So no matter what kind of project you're doing, we will be trying to kind of give an overview of how one might do that. So step 1. Oh, I did what kind of project do you wanna do? It's okay. Hmm. Um, so as much as like you can make money on it, but don't really make that the goal. Like, even like zines that deal with money and that aren't just charity, you end up making like $35 on average, and that's with the ones that you do get paid. Anyway, we'll touch on that a little more later. But yeah, step one of this whole project. Gosh, I wish we had some background music. Um, is it's fine. Is pre-production. So that includes it is the boring part unless you but it will save your entire ass. Is ass allowed? Yes, it's yeah. So, further on that, let's let's talk about what you may want to do before you start. And in case you don't know, in panel A main, I'm posting these slides. So yeah, because we didn't know there wasn't a streaming capability. Yes. Yeah, yeah. Um, mhm. Yes. Yeah. Yes, you especially if you're doing a group project. I mean, I don't think I've if you're doing like a group project that even if it doesn't involve money, you do still want to have people you want to know that people will pick it up or that people will want to participate. Um so speaking of participation, um social media, you people will want to participate more if you well, no. Sorry. It is it's important to have a social media for your project. Not necessary it like probably don't host it on your own social media so that your zine updates and people navigating and looking for certain dates and all that doesn't get mixed up with like your personal stuff, things like that. Um, and it helps with navigation. It helps like people will know where to go to learn more about the project. It keeps everything like sorted, and it lets people engage and like and yeah, and share you with other people. So and yeah, please. Hmm. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Correct. You know, things have been happening with people buying Genshin things and stuff. Uh, you know, this is so true. But yeah, it also helps just like it from like the zine perspective of things. For one, I've headed some zines. I don't really know how to do finances, and I frankly do not have time to learn. So I would be lost without a finance mod to help me. And on the flip side, I've kind of like I like to help so much. Sometimes it's a little pushy. And this person was based out of Australia, and I was like, please let me be your shipping mod. Oh my god, your shipping is going to be $25 from the like British Empire, and so please, for your customers as well as yourself, get fellow moderators. Yes. Um, and the credentials also help with so that like if something goes wrong or you are facing like a conflict that you don't know what to do with, then people with more experience may know how to uh and not a smooth transition, but Mhm. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. This especially goes for when you if you are, like, trying to release it on a certain date, like, uh, us, for example, then, you gotta backtrack from there. But speaking of buffers, financial buffers, finances, we if this is a project with finances involved, you definitely want some help with that. You need to set up like a little calculator. There are plenty of resources online for this type of thing. Um, but sorry, I lost my window. But yeah, yes, yes, hmm, yes, yes. To to get into this server, you had to do a very casual contract. So even one of those is fine. And yeah, speaking of Discord, it's you need to set up a group server like ahead of time or make sure that you have a method of contact, ideally at least two for each participant so that you can get a hold of them or like for yourself, like make sure the mods information is available, make sure that you have an email for the project if at all possible, so that people can get in touch with you at any point during the whole um, process. And this will also oh. Yeah. Yes. Supposedly. Yes, it will protect you and everyone else, we promise. Um, Next up, from pre-production from kind of a creativity standpoint, also, if you notice us talking really fast, it's because, oh man, uh, we both love to talk. um, and ADHD. Haha. Anyway, uh, so pre-production from like a creativity standpoint, Celine knows more about this from like a like animation-y production standpoint, and I know about it from like narrative type stuff. So you definitely want to have like an outline and a inspiration board, or like lack of a better thing, kind of a visual and reference library. So if if your thing is set in a forest, please take pictures of your of like a forest or like lockers. Download some 3D lockers assets. Yes, anything. Just you don't want to be lost. Yes. Mhm. Yes. Something else that you definitely want to have is promotional assets. So this is things like when you're featuring when you're announcing mods, you want to have like your kind of your little files all set up so you can just be like, here's the mods picture, here's where we type the stuff, and that's that. And the same for artist features, for like releasing updates, for countdowns. It's great to have as much of this ahead of time as you want, and also your promotional assets are often what people will look at and want to like engage with your project because of. So they are definitely. Yes, it's so true. Mhm. It's so true. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yes, I love an ugly sketchbook. Don't show it to anyone. It's fine. Uh, but yeah, and then it's not like you're designing characters on the fly or something. Like I know that when I do my webcomic, I still have my reference open, even though I've drawn these little guys like 800 times at this point. Yes. It's fine. It's a fun Easter egg. um, yes, that is. Yes, especially if like you are if there's a specific setting that you're like I know that some reanimates kind of try to do like a continuous storyline through like a singular environment, stuff like that. You definitely want to have like a map, if you can have like a map of that, like a physical landscape map of where things are, so you don't have teleporting characters and like stuff like that. Um, and speaking of physical things, if you're printing something physical, you definitely need to have the templates and the dimensions in multiple places because people will not see them, including yourself sometimes. And that's, you know, you need it in order to print. Please. So true. Hmm. Yeah. And if you're at any time kind of lost or don't know or like need some inspiration, you've hit a wall. Look at some of your favorite projects like a zine Twitter or even just projects that you know the fandom of and see how they kind of approach their pre-production, whether that be from like an asset standpoint or like a lot of like people who do parts and maps will show their process and things on YouTube. And that's always really inspiring to look at. Hashtag inspiration. Um, so we wanted to show kind of an example of like project management type thing. Uh, on the left and right, we have some examples of like Discord server setups. On the left is one that I did for a What We Do in the Shadows zine, and on the right is a peek behind the curtain at our children record Discord server channel list. Very exciting. Um, yeah, like, oh god, it's not over. In the middle here, there's a particular asset that floats around like zine production discords where it's kind of a calculator. You put in what you know about the zine, like how many copies there's going to be, how much you need to spend on this, etc., and then it'll spit out the other values for you. It's very useful, especially if you are inept like I am when it comes to finances. And then below that, yeah, excuse me. And then below that is um the many folders of Google Drive that I had for the What We Do in the Shadows zine. Um, some of them are shared, some of them are not. It's good to have everything in like a central hub where you are able to share with your fellow mods or access things in case anyone needs them for any part of the process. Sorry, I choked on my spit. Ugh. Yeah, with our cute little graphic, and I'm sending the next slide now. Yes, I'm yes, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So mhm, mhm. Yeah. And speaking of schedules, hold people to their check-ins. You are the one who embarked on this project and is in charge of it. So that is an authority that you have taken on for yourself, and you need to embrace that and use it when it is needed. Be the authority, and you are the authority. Act like it. So hold people to their check-ins. Um, you don't have to be like a tyrant or anything, but you know, just yeah, just don't be a dick. So yeah. Mhm. Mhm, 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 mhm. Yes, and do it as soon as you can. Um, but part of being transparent, like showing behind the scenes, stuff like that, is you can use some of that transparency when it's on the fun side of things instead of like, "Hey, we effed up," is to promote the ever loving hell out of your project. You try to make like weekly posts if you can. We didn't do that, but zines I've been in have. We both have we both have full-time jobs. um but yeah, please double post, triple post, repost. It's okay. This will be someone's first time seeing it. It'll be okay. Um Unsmooth transition. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Yes, for sure. Um Woo, yeah, done is better than perfect. No matter what you produce, once it's finished, like if you're running out of time, if something is perfect, if you're waiting for something that you make to be perfect, it'll never be made because nothing will ever be perfect. So if it's done, then it exists and it's out in the world. It's like that meme that's like, "Holy shit, 2 cakes." Um, literally. Yes, exactly. Um, yes, part of that is I really like to save the drawings that I like, even if they don't make the cut. Like this is this is for watching yourself grow, which is also like motivating, or just you like it and it's cool and it helps you to. Yeah. Exactly. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Don't be married to your works, but you can keep Polaroids of your exes. Also, if at all like, I see a lot of people online that are like, "Yeah, what I do my process is I look at the canvas and then I pray." But truly, when you do this, if you're trying to be consistent about something, it is so important to have a process that you can lock down. Like, for example, Help Girl, I'm coloring 400 pages over the course of 4 months. If I didn't have a process, I would be dead. Um Yeah. So that will bring us to the end of this slide, I believe. And so we thought we'd throw in what to expect as a participant to like, and how to make the most of that as you uh, inhabit the space. um, exactly. Um, uh, sure. Yeah. Yes. I I'm I'm in a chunk of zines right now. There was someone who came up and was like, I thought we were getting more paid for this. I got like paid $100 in my last zine," and it's like, girl, gender neutral. That's not how it works. You probably won't get much as a participant, especially if and like in maps. I know everything is done for free. You don't even like do sales of anything. You just be like, haha, I made the cat move. But yeah, so participants don't get much, but usually if they do, it's a customary like free copy of the zine. Um, and for that reason, like apply to things that you would want to buy because then that's $100 or something you don't have to spend or 65 or whatever. Um, mm-hmm. How do you? So true. All right. Yes. Yes, this is very true. Like it will come up so fast. I'm in an anthology right now, and like I said, oh girl, I'm coloring 400 pages, and this thing's like, hey, we need your 15 pages line arted by the beginning of September. So, please don't overwork yourself. I'm not a good example. Uh, Unsmooth transition. Contracts. Again, casual or not, for the love of gods, for mods and participants, expect to sign a contract. As a participant, it is also important to be able to like hold the mods to a standard. Like this is what they're promising to give you. If they aren't able to give you this, like as kind of I've been on both sides of being like, "Hey mods, can we have an update? Please, please, please. I'm knocking on the glass. I'm shaking the bars." And it's annoying for both sides, and that's okay. But yeah, hold your mods to it, and just as much as they're holding you to your end of the project and stuff. Yes. Yeah. Yes, this is true. Um, yeah, we have a quick aside to talk about. As I mean, like, as much as it feels weird to call ourselves professionals, we are professionals. Um, you've yeah, everyone stare at the last bullet on Celine's. But, so yes. Mhm. Yeah. Yes. So true. Eh. So true. It's so true. Mhm, mhm, mhm. So true. Um, you can leave. Get out of there. Hit the brakes. All right. Speed run of my self W's and L's. Webcomics. I have done 5 in my time. 4 of them are abandoned after 30 pages. Um, that was mostly during 2016 through 2019. Right now, I have a webcomic that has about 80 pages. It's on Webtoon. It's still going. It's called Some Might Call Us. It's about gay vampire roommates. Anyway, but like I said, it took the 5th time's the charm. Zines, I've dropped out of many. Well, not many, like at least 10. I've dropped out of something along those lines because, school happens. And as much as it sucks to like tell the mod, hey, I have to leave, I have to abandon this piece that you saw me developing and that people were excited for. It just happens sometimes, and that's okay. It is not the end of the world, and it will not go on your permanent record, I promise. Um, Crowdfunding like zines, I've been able to do this with enough like oomph, and a lot of promo and like social media stuff, um both like zines and little mini comics, stuff like that. Crowdfunding merch, both successes and fails. But during that crowdfunded merch, one of them was a bunch of charms. I ran out, so I wasn't able to ship bundles, and like the bonus was not able to be like given out because I misjudged my finances and my time. And I'm still here. I'm still making art. It's okay. Um, we're alive. For good, I also did Good Omen stickers in 2019 that I started a crowdfund, and Gumroad lets you keep things from pre-orders, but I didn't make cost, so I had to make people wait like 6 months and then refund them like a total of $200 from my own bank account, and that was very embarrassing and sucked, but it's fine. I have a job. And like I said, sometimes you drop out of things. I've dropped out of maps because I was like, "Oh, I'm in school. Goodbye." Stuff like that. Or yes. School is hard. You are so valid, especially high schoolers in here. You are so strong. Um, Release the beast. You can do it. We sure freaking did. Um, yeah. Uh, so like we're trying to do in order to be fast and get to the end. This is basically our last slides. But keep your hype out. Once you've released it, like you gotta announce it all the time. For especially when there's yeah, like when there's finances involved, people be an anime protagonist. People are relying on you. Do whatever it takes. And sometimes that it means shilling. um, so true. Very real. But yeah, part of that, like announcing all the time, doing all the time, doing artist features, keep your social media active, make regular updates leading up to the release as well. Uh, like you could do like a giveaway, you can do a 10-day lead up, you can do a 7-day lead up. It doesn't matter, but we love sneak peeks and audiences love sneak peeks. Yeah, we didn't do this, but a lot of zines do, and we should do it next time. Tee-hee, tee-hee, tee-hee. It's a good one. Um, we love to cry, but yes. Mhm, mhm. Yeah. Oh, you weren't doing a big premiere. Mhm. Yeah, and, you know, even with, product ones, it's okay, like, I was in a tarot deck that took, like, a year and a half to get released, and it's fine. Um, like I said, it's not gonna follow you anywhere, you're not gonna get canceled, I promise, as long as you don't steal money. Um, so like it's a big deal enough. It's not a big deal in the sense of that like you will live, you will survive. You are okay. I'm giving you permission. It is okay. But you do need to inform all of your participants, your uh customers, etc. Um okay, that's the end. And because we sped through all of this, if anyone has any questions about something more narrative based, something like a comic, a web comic, a reanimate, whatever, a zine, please hit us up. We love to speak. um, bro, so true. Um, yes, yeah, same here. Um, woo to the Q&A. Okay, thank God. Yes, yes. So true. Also, yes, Cyru does do Bitcoin. Gotta end the world. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So as far as like, what's exactly? Oh, sure. Hmm. Yeah, so, like, Reanimates, like, what we premiered here, y like, I've never seen one that involves money, so don't worry about that. Um, like, I'm sure our Reanimate could do merch if they wanted to, but it's not gonna be something that you're gonna run into a lot. When it comes to zines, some people wanna buy them, and in order to make something, in order to, like, create a physical product, someone has to usually make that for you unless you are a fan of printing your own stuff or like have an acrylic thing. Um so pre-orders, like the general thing is zine happens, zine is produced, pre-orders open, people pre-order, there's a period of time in which there's production of those things, like that's where the money goes, and then after that production period ends, like people you get updated on the Twitter usually about it, then things are shipped out, and if there's a lot of zines end up going for charity, so whatever's left over from after you've produced all of the physical objects will either go to charity or get divided between like usually 30 or 40 artists, and that that obviously makes things like a really small fraction. So it's I've gotten like $9 for a zine before. It was like great, thanks. But yeah, okay. So I hope that helps. Another question is how do you Bass Pro Shops Momo asks, how do you handle a continuous timeline within a comic? How do you organize notes? Um, for me, I'll do mine real quick because I'm like I'd be speeding through stuff. I for me, like my webcomic happens throughout like the 80s and then the 90s and then the present. Um, I use Notion very liberally. Uh, it's it helps you organize. You can make like graphs or like charts, like spreadsheets. Um, yeah, it just helps to have like a lot of timelines, a lot of break your things down as much as you can in order to make it more accessible, I guess, if that's what you mean. All right, you go now because you've been running it long. You've been running one longer than me. Mm. Mm. I'm gonna say I've never thought of it that way, but yeah. um, um. Mhm. 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 Yeah. Uh, and then for me, yes. You gotta get grossly obsessed with it. Like make memes of your characters. It's the best. Commission fan art of like commission like drawings of your characters. That ends up motivating me a lot because it feels like fan art. Um, but uh, like just get honestly, it's like let yourself fall into an obsession hole. Honestly, uh, yes, and like yes, research things that like are related to it and like talk to yourself about why you love the project in the first place and just like keep that light inside you, not to sound super cheesy. I'm going to answer this next question really quick because it's thank Alt Momokini. How does one deal with getting mods? Does one go to sites like Reddit or such to recruit? I've always done it via having a moderator application that you share over Twitter or Tumblr, or like giant zine servers of like, hey, my mod apps are open. Yeah, so pretty thumbs up. So true. Um, I got two, black and white. Anyway, um, Tumblr.com in 2013. um, wasn't it like it was the music videos that got you into it, wasn't it? Jubies? Oh, yeah. Oh, I was asking if they played English versions or the, yeah, fair enough. Nodding. Mhm, mhm. Ah, mhm. God, I love checklists. Mhm, mhm. Yes, so something that like I start getting like jittery or whatever if I'm still for too long. I am on 100 milligrams of Zoloft. So that helps a little bit. Other things is that I drink water constantly all day because that makes you stand up to go piss, girl. And that kind of sates the ADHD beast a little bit of like, hey, I'm walking around, I get to see my animals, things like that. Okay, cool. Um, Oh, backtracking just for a second to for Crimson of like, how did you improve along the way? If you did, I have improved a lot. I have my old DeviantArt to look back on and be like, haha, I drew Kuroha, and he'd be looking like an MS Paint brightness. Um, and you know what? You're right. Thanks, 15-year-old me. But improving along the way, just drawing all the time, doing like using a lot of reference. It helps that we go to art school, but you don't need it. It's fine, especially if you can self motivate. Like, don't worry about it. Just yeah, draw a lot. Consume a lot of different media. Practice in ways that your like favorite people do. Okay, going forward. How do you see your yeah? Um, asked, how do you organize your time to get everything done? I tried to organize myself, but everything takes more time than I thought. That's where things like the buffer comes in. It also helps if you're working on something to kind of like set the intention to take notice of how long something takes you. Like I was trying to finish 10 pages a day when I found that most reliably I can color 6 to 8. Uh, and like it took me a while to really be there to like be present enough to notice that, but it's something just to kind of try to. It takes practice to like know your limits, I guess. What do you have to say on this, Celine? Hmm. Mm. Mhm. Yeah. Some My mom has more severe ADHD than I do, and she always says, like, keep like, to shoot for, like, a lower thing than you feel like you can get, so if you're like, I could definitely draw 5 scrimblows today, then try to aim for 3, and then when you get that 3, if you have it in you to get more done, then that's okay. But budget for, like, half of what you, quote, unquote, "know" you can get done, I guess. We love familial ADHD. Guilty Gear asks, as a coordinator, how difficult does it get when it comes to coordinating so many people in a project like a Reanimate? Um, mhm. It's easier when you have more mods, though. Mhm. Mhm. Yes. The things I've had the most problems with are ending up putting things off to the last minute, like production of assets or not being able to find mods for certain roles. Like, I was the head mod, shipping mod, and graphics mod for one of my projects, and don't recommend that. Let's see, where were we? I answered someone. We can answer probably one of Hope's, and Hope cloud hope exclamation point cloud. Um feel free to feel free to, like, email us. Ch- yes. Yeah. Um what kind of moderation does a project like this, no money involved project, entail? I'm assuming it's not as active as modding a server like this. Do you have any recommendations for finding mods? Like I had answered someone further up, um, people that you know you will work well with, whether that's like someone else who's kind of your colleague in the art sphere or whatever, that that's helpful. Like I said, Tumblr and Twitter put out the call for it, like a Google form, and then you kind of choose from there. It definitely helps to, like, ask someone else who is in the same fandom or whatever to, like, start with. So then there's someone, like, with you for all the steps of the way, I guess. Um, Real quick with how to handle when someone ghosts or flakes. You That's what you have pinch hitters for, or you do it yourself and then you die. No, I'm just kidding. Mhm. Yes. Mhm. Yes. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, next is, why do I keep replying to things like a little fool? Um, do you wanna go first? Sorry, I keep going like, "Wah!" Mhm. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, something that yeah, something else that's very helpful, please, please, if you're ever going to try to get into a group project, please have your email somewhere that's available that someone can look at and contact you through. Please God. The amount of times that we've had to pass up on people for like zines when we've like been paneling as judges and being like, "Oh, I love this person's art," but they don't have their email anywhere in order to contact them. And like we just it sucks. Yes, please. Mhm. Mhm. Yes. Yeah. And yeah, because it is 6:03, so we are unlocking the cage, you are all free to go. Um, um, yeah, go to the concert, I am open to DMs, but I also might not answer super fast, so feel free to email me too. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you especially to all of the animators that we had who have joined us here as well. Um, you guys are also free to ask us questions in the Children Record Animate server. So like, bark, bark. Yes, yeah. Bye, y'all.